The average viewer watching mainstream news would think the latest violence between Israelis and Palestinians began with the kidnapping of 3 Israeli teens on June 12th. Guess what? That's not the case. Here's what the mainstream media isn't telling you. Before the Israeli teenagers were kidnapped and killed, 5 Palestinian children had been killed by Israel in 2014 alone. Their deaths didn't generate international outrage or a global campaign, but what they did do was add to Palestinians' ever-growing frustration with the Israeli occupation.
Today, Israeli warplanes hit more than 100 targets in Gaza, responding to rockets that were launched into Israel by Islamic militants.
The mainstream media does a really good job in making this seem like a war between 2 equal sides. It's not. We're basically looking at asymmetric warfare between Israel's mighty Western-backed military versus Palestinian fighters equipped with mainly homemade rockets in the besieged Gaza Strip. The massive airstrikes Israel is launching at Gaza now have killed dozens, destroying entire homes. Attacks from Gaza into Israel don't compare. Just look at the numbers. Since 2009, Israeli forces have killed more than 600 Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. The number of Israelis killed by Palestinians during that time? Just over 40. And unlike Israel, Gaza has no sirens to warn of imminent strikes, no bomb shelters, and no Iron Dome missile defense system to intercept Israel's attacks. The hospitals in Gaza can barely deal with the influx of patients coming in now. Israeli spokesmen are all over the media saying their goal is to hurt Hamas and end its attacks. But very few outlets actually report Hamas's objectives, even though it announced them many times. Hamas is asking for Israel to end its raids in the West Bank, to release all the prisoners who were re-arrested after being freed in a previous prisoner swap, and to lift the siege on Gaza. So, Israel wants to stop Hamas. That hasn't happened yet, even though this isn't their first military assault. In the past, there's been Operation Summer Rains, Operation Hot Winter, Operation Cast Lead, Operation Returning Echo, and Operation Pillar of Defense, just to name a few. You'd think they'd get the hint. Bombing Gaza doesn't work. Maybe it's time instead to lift the siege on Gaza and end the collective punishment there. But you probably won't hear that in the media.